Could I please have a motion for that the agenda for Low Entropy Foundation's AGM or annual grant meeting or general meeting is approved and it is presented? Perfect, thank you. And could I have a second? Seconded by Vivian. Thank you very much. So let's get started. First item on the list is so I will like to pass the floor to the co-executive director's report and organizational overview for 2022/2023. And that would be Vanessa and Ness. So I will pass the floor to you folks.
Wonderful. Thank you, Irfan. All right. So for those who live in the Tri-Cities, I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but I just caught wind of this today. And this is the sad reality that this is still happening in this day and age where there are folks that are racist and prejudiced. And so that's why we do the work that we do to eradicate racism and instead create a better community for all of us.
Okay, and let's talk about our achievements in the last year. I cannot believe all of the things that we have done. You'll see this exhaustive list, and we'll touch on all of them on the next few slides here, but wow, good for us, impressive. So next slide. Perfect. So the first program I'd like to touch upon is the CARE Food Hamper Program. So as many of you may know, CARE stands for compassion, acceptance, respect, and empathy. So those are the values in which we run this program. We have been so fortunate to have been able to run this program nonstop throughout 2023, which is not something that we have done before. So we have been successfully running this program in Maple Ridge since December of last year, and we are now working on getting it back up and running in the Tri-Cities. So this program is very dear to our hearts because it's not only addressing food insecurity, but also the root cause. So we have lovely volunteers who connect with all of our clients on a weekly basis. And then we have our expressive arts program for youth, also very dear to my heart. So we have Adler Practicum students who go out to schools and teach these classes to the youth. And not only do they get to do the art, but they get to express themselves and learn more about what's going on internally for them. We also had two really awesome events. This was from our Tri-Cities Community Market, which we held twice this past year, which featured local small businesses selling their products, their services, all together in the Tri-Cities. So very, very fun event. And JOY. JOY stands for Just Older Youth because they're not seniors, they're just older youth. We don't use the S word here. So we had monthly events for these lovely folks, and it was really based on what they wanted. So if they wanted bingo, if they wanted a yoga event, a paint night, what have you, that is what we put on for them through our amazing volunteers.
Another program that we brought on this year was the Voice Story platform. So we've hosted now 5 monthly events, and we have 3 more that we'll host this year, done out of the Evergreen Cultural Center. It's a safe space and a platform for folks to share their vulnerability and their authenticity and really share from the heart. And it inspires all the audience and participants who attend as well. In addition to that, we hosted our annual Summer Multicultural Festivals event. With this event, we had just over 2,000 people attend the event, and we had 13 different performances on stage, over 100 community vendors, and over a dozen different food trucks. So this is our staple event, but stay tuned for next year because we are rebranding it next year. So we're expecting to have double, if not more, the amount of participants come out to this event. Another program that we wrapped up this year was our project-based labor market training. So we did 2 of these where we trained 30 folks in the community to become software testers, and we helped them with employment to find careers in this industry, and another 30 individuals to become computer programmers. So these were both year-long projects. And like I said, we wrapped them up this year. From there, we created a new initiative called the Tri-Cities Community Building Initiative. And so with this, what we did is we organized one event here at the library, and we invited everybody in the community to attend to help us identify what are the gaps in the Tri-Cities, and then brainstorm how can we come together to address these gaps. So after our first event, then we met weekly, and we would dive into the topics and the areas that we assessed together, which were mental health, youth initiatives, and affordable housing. So each week we would meet and we would come up with ideas and dive into deep conversations around how we can be part of the solution to address these problems. So rather than complaining about the issues, how can we actively be part of the solution and be that change that we wish to see in the community? Through our community outreach, we identified that there was a need for folks that wanted to connect and have some fun playing sports. So we created a drop-in soccer league. This is a free drop-in team. Anybody's allowed to come out, and we play every Saturday at Lafarge. So come on by if you're in the area. Saturdays at 7 p.m. A lot of fun. And then connecting with our Indigenous folks at the Coquitlam First Nations, we did a fundraiser and raised money to help Elder Marie Hooper of Coquitlam First Nations to get a smile makeover. And so this is in the works right now, and we're hoping that she will have her smile makeover within the next couple months here. So stay tuned for that. And then the tragedy that happened just last month with the loss of Stephanie Patterson, we reached out to the community to see what we could do to support them. And we organized a fundraiser that is still ongoing. And together with the community, we've raised $30,000. If anybody's interested, check out our website, because as we mentioned, this is still ongoing, to raise more money for her kids that are still left without their parents. Because not only was Stephanie taken away and is now gone, but their father is no longer with the children either. So it's something that that you can help with if you're wanting to. Ness, back to you.
Yeah, and so this is going into some community work that we do. So Tri-Cities Employment for All, TIFA, as we are calling it. This is a group of service providers, and together we really advocate for inclusive hiring within the Tri-Cities. So this is folks that have disabilities or who are neurodiverse. We help to get them employment and also encourage folks who employ other people, so employers, to be as inclusive as possible in their hiring practices. And, we can't get through this without talking about the fact that we opened a thrift store. So this was huge. We launched this ribbon cutting ceremony, happened early in June, and we've been running our store for the last 3 months. And it has been so fantastic. We were super lucky to have these young folks be hired through the Canada Summer Jobs program and really help us launch the store. It's going really well. If you're in the neighborhood, please go to Burquitlam and check us out. Thrifting is just the way of the future. It's fantastic. And through our thrift store, we've been able to launch this new employment program called Career Catalyst. So through this, we were able to take folks who need some experience. So whether they are new to Canada, they're youth, they're re-entering the workforce, they can come to the thrift store and gain valuable transferable skills like customer service, cash management, and basically how to operate a retail store.
And because of the success of our first store, we're now looking at opening a second store. So that's there in White Rock, which is where we've made an offer to open our second store right there with the blue awning. So we would be taking over that building and opening up the second store. The opening, we would take possession on January 1st if it all goes through. We're in negotiations right now. So that's on the horizon. Another new initiative that we started, again, due to the success of our thrift store. Our thrift store is in Burquitlam. It's on the Coquitlam side of Burquitlam. And what we want to do is we want to improve the area. So we're starting a Coquitlam North Road Business Improvement Association. So we are right up here. This is where our thrift store is. And what we'd like to do is create a community and create a space where everybody thrives, where we all work together, we share resources, we share marketing, we share space, we do events together, and we improve the area and ultimately drive more traffic there, drive more business, and create a sense of well-being within the community. So this is the board of directors that just came on to start this business improvement area. And yeah, it's a really great group. Another thing that came out of our community outreach is the proposal we put in for the Tri-Cities Community Hub. So we met with City Council a few months back, and we're just now working out the details to actually make this a reality. But what it would be is a gathering place for all nonprofits and multicultural organizations within the Tri-Cities to really work together and combine our efforts at creating a safer, a kinder, more caring, compassionate community. So this is what we'd like to do, and we can only do this with everybody who comes to the table and wants to help out. And it takes resources to do things like this, which is why we are hosting our fundraiser. You got to put a little plug in here at the end. So if anybody's available November 18th, please do come. If you haven't got your tickets already, the early bird special is still on. Dress up in your hippie clothes. We'll have best dress contest. We will have the Beatles tribute band there, full dinner buffet. We're over halfway sold out. We're expecting 200 people, and it's going to be a ton of fun. So thanks for listening. Back to you, Irfan.
All right, thank you. I can't even begin to say how amazing it's been. There are lots of good things that has been done, and yeah, there's just simply not enough thank you that can be said to you guys, and it's been lovely. Before we move on to the next item on the list, I was just wanted to open the floor to everyone to see if there's any questions, anything to be asked, to be commented, any good things to say, anything that anyone would like to mention.
I just want to say that it's very, very impressive, the list of achievements and accomplishments that happened during the year, and the amount of programs that the foundation has offered to the community. It's incredible. It's hard to put into words.
Exactly, I agree. Thank you, John. Is there anything else that anyone else would like to say or comment on before we move on?
I would love to just say that everything that we do, we could not do without everyone who supports us. So whether they are a volunteer, a practicum student, our board, the community who comes out, anyone that we interact with and talk to, thank you. Thank you for your time, your energy, for the good advice, the high fives, everything. It is because of us coming together that we can do all this great work.
Well said, Ness.
I agree.
Gucci, are you giving us a high five, or do you want to?
Okay. I just wanted to say that it's been also like amazing, and since joining Low Entropy, that's 2021, there's been massive program inputs and all of that with the thrift store and everything. It's something to be super proud of, that I could be a part of the volunteers bringing this to that. But just one question, this is questions that I also get from other folks, right? All my connections, people that I reach out to, invite them to stuff, and they're like, oh, it's Low Entropy just going to be in the Tri-City. I usually said headquarters is in Coquitlam, so you can why the programs are centered around that. So they've been wondering if there's any plan for Low Entropy to like diversify, maybe try to host programs in more centralized place or other places, not just within the Tri-Cities, so other people can attend maybe something more central like Vancouver, down or something like that, just other programs. Or so these are just questions that people pass on to me, because every single invite is usually around Coquitlam, Tri-City, and they wanted to be sure that if it is in the plans for Low Entropy to maybe like extend their services or programs to the place more central for other people to attend as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Gucci. Absolutely, we do want to expand. So, if we open the second store, that'll be out in the White Rock, Surrey area. We're also looking to expand out into Langley. So definitely we will expand for sure. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Great question. But yeah, is there anything else that anyone would like to comment on, mention before we move on? All right. I usually have this thing that I count to 5 in my head, so I move on before the awkward silence. So we're moving on. So the next item on the list would be the co-treasurers and financial report. So that would be Tone and John that will be taking the floor. So.
Thank you, Irfan. Hi, everyone. My name is Tone Lee, and I'm one of the treasurers at Low Entropy. So our last fiscal financial results for the period between April 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2023 was exceptional. Total revenue across 11 programs from art therapy to the care program rose by 731% from $226,000 to $1.65 million. The primary driver of the increase in revenue was due to a program called Project-Based Labor Market Training, or in short, PBLMT, which is a mouthful to say at times, which made up about 70% of our revenue. We had 2 PBMT programs, of which one carried on over to this fiscal year. The second largest contributor of revenue came from the Community Workforce Response Grant. Expenses also increased in lockstep with revenue growth. Overall, our surplus for 2023 was $142,000, which has given us a nice cushion for this fiscal year. As many of you know, that our funding comes in various forms, from donations to grants. Our goal at Low Entropy has always been to help as many people as we can. However, this is not really a sustainable model because donations and grants actually vary from year to year, depending on various factors which are out of our control. As such, Vanessa and the board decided to explore ways to generate unrestricted funds which we can use without any restrictions. However, part of that transition to this new model included ending some of our programs like Youth Empowering Youth, senior programs, and so forth. We are proud of these programs, but we felt that we were spread too thin and needed to focus our efforts in order to achieve the organization's long-term goals. One of the ideas that was presented at a board retreat was to open a thrift store. Vanessa and Ness and the team worked diligently and brought this idea to fruition. We had a grand opening on June 3rd of this year, and overall monthly sales have exceeded our wildest dreams. Like at times it's like over $35,000, which is amazing. So all funds generated from our thrift store is actually unrestricted, which means we can allocate this resource however we like. So a big thank you to Vanessa, Ness, and the team for all of the efforts. I'm going to pass it on to John, who will give you some high-level highlights on our current year results.
Thank you, Tone. First of all, could everyone hear me? Please
Yes.
put a thumbs up. Well said, Tone. So my name is John Couvertaris. I'm a co-treasurer with Tone Lee. So from my end, I'm going to cover the current fiscal year, which is from 1st of April 2023 up until end of August, up until today. So basically, the organization is in from the balance sheet perspective, assets versus liabilities, the company is in a positive cash flow position. What I would like to bring to the attention is that there has to be consistent effort year round for grants, fundraising, and securing funds for the organization. So I think that's the main item that should be raised for all the board members and whoever cares about the organization. Everyone has to be on the same page, and the effort has to be consistent year round. But there's nothing that's alarming for the current state of the financials of the company. So we're excited that the thrift the new initiative of the thrift store went well, and we're planning on opening a second one at the beginning of January. Tone and myself went over the lease agreement, so it's exciting. I think potentially a second and even third thrift and fun store could be opened in the future. Over to you, Irfan.
Perfect. A huge thank you to John and Tone. I know you guys have been working hard on it, and we were very grateful for it. So it's going to be the same thing. Is there any questions for John and Tone before we move on to the next item, or any comments and anyone would like to say or make? All right, perfect. Seems like everyone's listening and everyone's following, so that's good. The next item that we have on the agenda would be the election of the 2023 to 2024 Board of Directors. So I would love a motion to approve that the membership of the following individuals to serve an addition 1 year, an addition 1 year of term as members of the Low Entropy Foundation's Board of Directors. And those individuals would be, and sorry if I mispronounced the last names, Bontol Makos, Vivian Chigbo, Tone Lee, John Couver-Terrace, and Dorian Kays, and myself, Irfan Torfanishaw. Could I have a motion to approve, please? Perfect. Thank you, Vivian. And then seconded by Tone. Thank you very much. Vanessa, is there anything you'd like to mention before we move on to the next item?
Yeah, I want to thank the board for your volunteerism and your commitment and your dedication to really helping us grow and move forward. I know Vivian and Dorian, you've been with us for 2 years now. So thank you so much for putting in the time and the energy that it takes to volunteer. And then Tone and John and Irfan. Irfan's been with, so Irfan is amazing. And Irfan is a director who's filling in for our board chair, Bontle, who's away today. So thank you, Irfan. I think this is the second year that you've done this. So thank you to you as well. How long have you been on the board now, Irfan?
Also 2 years.
Also 2 years,
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Irfan brings the millennial voice to the table for us. Very grateful for that. Thank you.
I try. But yeah, no, I also wanted to say thank you to all. There was a great point. We had a little staff meeting for the thrift store today, and the person who was leading it was saying that how great it is that the community there, the staff there, are so close and they're so diverse, and there's pretty much very, like, that's what she said. She said they're very nice, and it was mentioned that it's because our basement is a nonprofit, so we're here to help, and that's what the idea has been and will always be, and we're here to improve. So there's no one's ever going to be greedy, no one's ever going to be here to make their own profits. So that's just amazing, and it's been great, and it'll continue on to grow on a very, very strong foundation. And that's thanks to the community. But yeah, our next item on the list is new businesses. So we are in the process of recruiting new board members. So we're trying to get more people on the board, and especially people with connections. And the membership that may change at the next board meeting. So I will pass it to Vanessa to kind of go into detail with that a little bit more.
Thanks, Irfan.
But yeah.
So as Joe, I think John or Tone, the numbers guys, we have 2 CPAs on our board because Nats and I don't really like numbers. So thank you both. But the numbers guys, as they mentioned, the biggest pot of money came from our government contracts, right? So those PBLMTs, the project-based labor market training, that's where a lot of the funding comes in. And so in order for us to secure more funding from that avenue while we build up our own social enterprise with the thrift stores. We really need to identify and form and have better relationships with government officials and bureaucrats. And so what we're doing is we actually hired a government relations consultant, and he's working closely with us to help us form those relationships in government at all levels of politics. And the first thing he said we need to do is really build up our board. And so what we're doing now is we're reaching out to the community and looking for referrals for anyone who knows of folks who are interested in joining our team to continue serving more people and helping people around mental health issues, employment services, and food insecurity. So if that's you or you know anybody who wants to be part of the change, then please do reach out. I do see a couple new board candidates on the call, so thank you both for making time to be here. Really do appreciate you learning a little bit more about the work that we're doing. All right, back to you, Irfan.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, I guess I would like to open the floor to everyone again to see if there's any questions in terms of specifically if you want to know anything about how to be on the board or what needs to be done or how can you add to the board, those things. It's a good time to ask right now. And then again, if not, you can always reach out to anyone and they'll definitely help you. But is there any questions, anything that you have in your mind that you'd like to ask or add? Some people saying no. Okay, we'll move on. The next item on the list is to adjourn the meeting. So before we do that, I just wanted to thank everyone else to make the time to be here. I know it was quick and easy, and it was very nice to see some faces, to recognize, to meet you all. But with that, could I have a motion that the 2023 Low Entropy Foundation Annual Grant General Meeting will now adjourn? Thank you, Darian, and then seconded by Tone. And Noemi did you want to say something? No? Okay, all right. Thank you everyone for coming. It was lovely to